Hey YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be kind of exciting. I've already pretty much done it. It's already been done, but I forgot to do the intro. So once again, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate every single one of you guys. All right, guys, here's the Evil Fab 2nd gen swap. So a buddy of mine, Bodie, met him from the channel. He hit me up. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this Evil Fab 2nd gen swap with the Steed speed manifold, the Borg Warner 467.7. And then and here also we got the Fleece coolant bypass. So we'll knock this out and we'll take you guys along for the ride. All right, guys, here's what we're starting with. There's Bodie. He's starting to attack it. He's taking off the battery. We got to get all of this nonsense removed, and then we'll start the install. But that's what it looks like before. He looks like he's got that Punisher intake over there, and then it's gonna look like this. But the color on his turbo is freaking sick. It almost looks like a bass boat. So we're gonna get her taken care of. All right, guys, about 20 minutes in. So far, we got all the coolant riser crap off. He's disconnecting the turbo electrical lines before we start disconnecting the coolant lines to the turbo and the oil feed, and start undoing the exhaust housing and pulling it. So one tip I do have is, see that little aluminum piece right there that comes out of the head? You usually put a block off in there. Best thing to do, especially for any truck, when I did mine, it was 34,000 or 30,000 miles. His is 170,000 miles. Is to apply heat when you're pulling on that, because you do not want to break that off in your head. That would be crappy. So we're gonna start disassembling some more stuff and keep you guys updated. Man, look at this color. This is a glitter bomb. It's a prismatic powder coat color. It is freaking awesome. Almost looks like a bass boat. It's like a black, gold, and silver covering. Here's the hot side pipe right there, and then the air intake for the Evil Fab's logos on there. Pretty sharp looking kit. It is very similar to the WCFab kit that I had. We have everything laid out here. It's very easy to understand what goes where. We're not using we're going to be using these studs, the exhaust manifold studs that came with the kit. This is obviously the Steed speed manifold. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these in real life, but these things are a freaking work of art. They are beautiful. So really nice product. This was back ordered for him, so he had to wait about 6 to 8 weeks, but it is what it is, and we're getting it installed now. But yeah, we're just still in the process of disassembly. All right, guys, a little winded, but here's all the parts we got out. Hot side tube, all the hardware, EGR delete, and then the beast herself. In order to get this out, you pretty much got to disconnect your oil feed line. Oil drain line's on the bottom. There's a coolant line here. This is your pressure in, and then this is your drain that goes back to your block. This one right here actually has a block off that goes on there, and make sure you disconnect your connectors. Pretty nice turbo still. It's for sale. Bodie's asking, I don't know what he's asking price wise, but it's got about 170,000 miles on it. Perfect working order, exhaust brake, everything. So if you guys are interested, drop me a DM and I'll forward you his info. All right, guys, finally got the turbo out like I showed you a second ago, but this is what it looks like. It is a pain in the butt to do. That turbo is awfully heavy. It's probably about 80 pounds, but it's just an awkward 80 pounds. So trying to pull the brackets back off of the transmission right now so we can do that Fleece coolant bypass. Once we get that installed, then we'll start throwing on the Steed speed manifold and go from there. Ran into our first fitment issues. We got this oil drain to try to go where it's supposed to go here, lines up. Came with the filter, or not the filter, but the gasket and the bolts. But if you look at the bolts, they just fall right in there. They don't even fit. So there's one of our first issues. And another thing that we're having a hard time with is we got this is the Fleece coolant riser delete. This goes into the water, right where your water pump's at, and this goes up to a rubber hose which goes to the firewall. They wanted us to reuse the stock screw because it didn't come with one. Sorry if you can't focus on that real well, but it only goes through like a thread or two. So that is not smart to use. So we have to run to the hardware store and get one of these and some two bolts that'll hold together the bottom of the drain. So it's kind of where we're at now. One different thing too is our the exhaust pipe there. We're probably going to have to get a custom piece made, not custom, but just a piece made at a muffler shop to go to the rest of his exhaust, so it doesn't sound too terrible. All right, guys, kind of come to a standstill here. Here's what we got going on under the hood. There's the coolant riser delete. It goes to the firewall back there. There's not really any good instructions, and even on Fleece's website, I couldn't find them. But I'll show you. They go. It comes out the coolant neck right here, which is kind of hard to see, but this right here. See the opening. That opening right there is what hooks up to the water neck system, or the old coolant neck, and that's what goes up above to have your riser. You take that off, you put in a new fitting, and it'll connect to this hose right here, which comes down along the block, and that'll be underneath of your Steed speed, so you won't be able to see it. This is the old neck where it connected right here. It kind of went up like so, and it comes out and it looks terrible looking. So getting rid of that joker. With this kit though, the hardware isn't the best, so we're having to improvise and go get some from the hardware store. But once we get that, we're going to change the thermostat to a 180 degree thermostat. Once we get that done, we can put our Fleece coolant bypass hooked up, connected. Then we can start hanging our Steed speed and start hanging our turbo. But here we go. Trying to get that aluminum piece out. What we're doing is just heating up the head right there. Trying to loosen it up. Definitely don't want that to break off. All right, Bodie's putting on the Fleece coolant bypass clamps. It's nice that they come standard with these billet clamps now, not those cheap little 8L clamp looking things. Here's a tool for you to push those in. Other way, goes the other way. Guys, this is where we're at so far. We got the coolant bypass on. We got the oil drain line there. We got the fitting in for the new oil feed. We did the coolant riser to leap pipe fitting right there. Comes out of the water neck jack, or out of the water pump. Goes through this black hose and up to the firewall. What we're going to do is we're going to zip tie that down, and the exhaust will go right through the middle of that. Steed speed will be here. The exhaust manifold will probably be in this area and then go straight down. So far so good. We're just tightening up the small tedious stuff before we actually like start throwing on the nice pretty big stuff. So that's where we're at. Going ahead, knocking out the install of the exhaust manifold studs. Put all 12 of those in with gaskets, and then we'll hang the Steed speed and start putting the fun parts in. The way these Steed speeds come on this piece of wood and wrapped up, man, they definitely ship it in a nice, well-contained box so it doesn't flop around and take everything out. Finally starting to look like a second gen swap. These studs make it so much easier to put this thing on. guys see, I got a new toy. I got a new Cobalt digital torque wrench. I splurged on that yesterday since I knew we were doing this job. And yeah, that way we know things are done accurately. It was calibrated, came with calibration paperwork and everything, done on April 2nd. So pretty stoked about that. He's just tightened them down, and then we're gonna actually hit them with the torque wrench and make sure they're there. We're gonna go with 40 foot-pounds. It says 35 to 45 is one of the, I think I saw that on Thoroughbred Diesel's website. So that's what we're gonna do, she said. Let me see, is it on?
No.
The... There you go. She should be ready. There you go. My new toy works. Do you need the smaller, shallower 15?
Yeah, I'm probably
okay.
Will. Probably for.
Hand it to me, I'll hand it to you. It is. You could probably put that on the housing right now. All right, center section's going in. Finally. Yeah, she's flush. Just tighten down that V-band. I think this is the size. Is that the... That's
nope.
too big. What size is that? Yeah, that'll work. I got you.
Does it matter which way this thing's twisted, or
Nope. I just like to clock it to where it's a nice area, so I can always fucking hit it. You just want to make sure.
No, I'm talking about this thing.
Oh no! So you want to make sure your oil feed is at the very top, and if your oil feed's at the very top, you should be fine because your oil drains right below it. So.
Gotcha.
Yep. And once she's tight, there you go. Just you move the compressor wheel. She's solid. Boom. It's nice that we can have break them down in sections like that. Yeah. All right, guys. Here's take two. We had to take the center section out in order to get the oil drain line on nice and secure. We couldn't fit a wrench into there, so we had to take it off. Put the oil drain line back on, and now Bodie's taking off the oil feed line we put on while it was off, so we can pre-lube it. I got my handy dandy snap-on turkey baster, and then I got the oil right here. It's way too much, but we'll get it figured out.
Oh, we need that drain in there.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
You got some rags just in case? All right. And so what he's doing is he's going to spin the compressor while he puts oil in there, and it should suck it down. Do we need to pull that nipple off so I can get in there?
That's going pretty. It's going all right.
It's
all
right.
going in there.
Here's some rags, dude. If you need them. Hey, he's just getting it in the top of the oil feed there, and just putting some oil in there and getting it through the bearing, so on the first start up it's not dry and it doesn't have a chance to warm up too fast and smoke itself. Just got the oil feed done and the oil drain, and you guys can see they're tight. They're pretty close against each other down there, and it is a pain in the butt to get those on. It almost didn't seem like these lines were long enough, but we'll go ahead and put the turbine blanket on now, and then start putting the pretty colored stuff on. There's your ring. I put that on first. There you go. Look at that turb ski. Man, she looks good. Got it in your hand?
Right.
To get it over the lip there?
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. Sweet. Looks awesome.
Hell yeah.
See, there she is. What a pain in the ass that was. If you guys see the hot side piping on this kit is one piece, and for 13 and above it's usually a two-piece kit because this curves down and goes to where the intercooler's down here in the lower valance. It's not up here like it is on these trucks. So we had a lot of time of trying to adjust this to get it on just right, because when you can see the boot, there's kind of an angle, but it's not bad as it was, and trying to get everything aligned up with the compressor housing. The actual hot side intercooler piping, or excuse me, yeah, hot side piping was a pain in the butt, but finally got it all done. Everything's tight. We're gonna service the radiator and then start her up. So not too bad for one day of work. They're all wrapped up. We just got to do fluids now. Here's the band, and then here's the 12. So it'll match. I got you. What's the matter with it? Oh, it's all the way fucking tight. That don't make no sense.
Maybe
flip-flop them. At last, she's installed.
full day's worth.
Yep. Complete removal and install in about what, 7 hours?
Yeah, about 9:30.
It's not too bad.
9:30 to 5:30.
Yep. We're gonna leave the wheel well liner out for the simple fact that he can drive it around for a couple days just to make sure everything's nice and there's no leaks or anything like that. But the only thing we got to do now is put the coolant back in it and start her up. All right, here we go. First start. Are you clearing your codes?
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah, DTCs. Cool. Fire up. Good, man. That's second death swap in 7 hours. I don't see any leaks. Everything looks good. Sounds real good. That's a straight pipe right there. Down there, hood stack. Make sure we ain't got no leaks. Oil line looks good. Oil return looks good. Oil fill. Nothing down there. Water. All right, this is gonna be the first test drive after the second gen swap, and we'll see how it goes. You can go left. All right. Yeah, buddy. Look at that smile. Everything looks good. Temperature's warming up.
Yep. 160.
So as you guys can see, we just took it for a test drive. We got the temperature up to about 184. So that did open up the thermostat on the motor and the thermostat on the coolant bypass. So we should have got some fluid flowing through there. We're gonna go back to the house. We're gonna check the fluid level of the radiator and then service it up again. But it is obnoxiously loud in this truck right now with just the downpipe. We don't have any exhaust on it whatsoever, and people are looking at us like it's crazy. So yeah, we're gonna get back there. We're in the neighborhood now. It's still obnoxiously loud, but we're almost done. We're almost there. We're gonna get her serviced up, and we'll be done. All right, guys, we are wrapping up the video for today. So it is about almost 7:30 here. It's about 7:25. Got out here this morning about 10 o'clock in the morning, and we started ripping this truck apart. I am actually blown away at the time that we made on this thing. We did a Fleece coolant bypass, installed the Steed speed manifold, and obviously the Evil Fab second gen swap. Probably did it all in about 7 hours. We were done about 2 hours ago. We're just, we added coolant, you know, as you guys seen, and just wrapping up a few odds and ends. We had a problem with the EGT probe, kind of the nipple that goes into the Steed speed manifold to actually screw on the EGT probe. We had a problem with that where it was stripped at the very bottom, so we had to cut it off with the Dremel tool and then reinsert it back in there. So we're still having a problem with it, but we're having a problem getting the EGT probe inserted and locked down with the actual bolt. One last thing Bodie has to do is has to take this truck to a muffler shop to get, there's a 2-inch gap between his downpipe and his actual exhaust system. So he's got to get that taken care of. He's going to use the other downpipe he had from the original, that hooked up to the original turbo, take that with him. Hopefully they can just cut that off and insert it. Fit and finish on this, in my opinion, I would give it, say, a B-. I have the WCFab kit. The install took me like 3 days, honestly, but everything went together well. I used that experience from this on his truck, and we got it done in 7 hours. There are some alignment issues with his turbo, with the oil lines. There were some bolts that didn't fit. I don't know if he got an S300 oil line kit for it, you know, the oil feed and the oil drain. We had to actually drill out the piece of billet that goes on the bottom of the turbo for the oil drain. We installed it, we had to uninstall it, like taking the center section out just to get it fitted right and everything nice and snug. So we started it up like you guys seen. There was no issues with leaks or anything like that, but it all turned out really well. So he's excited, I'm pumped, I'm happy, he's happy, and everything works out pretty well. So I know he's gonna miss his exhaust brake. He does tow every once in a while. He does have a nice camper, so he probably will miss that. Maybe later on he can add that Fleece exhaust brake. But overall, this video I felt was pretty awesome. I've always wanted to do one of these. He's actually a viewer that reached out and said, hey man, hit me up on my Instagram, was asking if I would help him. And like I've told you guys before, in a heartbeat, if you guys want to do something to your truck that you're unsure of, if you've never done it before, let me know, hit me up. And if you're in a local area, I mean, we can go to your house or you can come to my house like he did, and we can get this taken care of. So I throw that offer out to anybody. So if you guys ever need help with something, just let me know. Once again, I appreciate you guys watching. You guys are freaking awesome. I appreciate all you guys that are subscribed. And if you aren't subscribed, make sure you hit that button and turn on that notification bell. Once again, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you guys on the next upload. Have a good one.